hey, ho, ho. Union busing's got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Union busing's got to go.
Well, you heard them. Pro-union supporters this week demanding Congress get rid of secret ballots at the workplace, something that would make it easier to unionize businesses, and something Eric says would ruin our economy for good.
This is the worst idea. I mean, look, unions are no strangers to intimidation and to pressure. You're just going to allow them to lean on people who may not unionize to unionize. And unions, listen, 80% of Americans are against unions. You know why? Because they don't work, they don't help Americans, they don't help the economy, they're no good. What this does, it pushes us just one step closer to socialism. Socialism bad, capitalism good.
Okay, you got that formula, Brad? You got that down?
That is just the craziest thing I've ever heard. Unions built the middle class. But look, this is a specious argument. I mean, no one's getting rid of the secret ballot. The Wall Street Journal even said this week that this legislation doesn't get rid of the secret ballot. But let's not hold the secret ballot as the Trinity and the Dead Sea Scrolls. I mean, remember, it's the employers that control the elections.
Okay.
You know, it's the equivalent of the Republican Party deciding to hold the presidential election. Of course they're going to win every time.
Okay, Gary B., you were laughing, so just go with it there.
Well, I'll tell you what, first of all, the facts are, as I know it, that every time you see a union take over an industry, whether it's airlines, steel, textiles, government, that industry tends to fold or become completely ineffective. I mean, is anyone out there thinking, my gosh, the government is the most effective run organization around, no matter what level, federal, state, or local, and that's the most heavily unionized. Forget about steel and airlines and things like that. Two, if we don't have the secret ballots, I don't understand how one couldn't feel intimidated at work. Look, if unions were so sure that they had this great argument, it wouldn't matter what pressure, quote unquote, management or the corporate executives put on people. So have it, be secret, let the unions live or die by their arguments, as in they've been dying, by the way, for the last 40 years or so as union membership has fallen off. That's why they want this bill passed.
And
but this is just...
Go ahead,
This is not true, though. The legislation doesn't get rid of the secret ballot. 1/3 of employees could decide that they do want to have a secret ballot election.
Yes,
it just gives them another choice.
But this is a very big choice, and in a way, you can go into the parking lot, and the worker and the union can go in front of co-workers and say, "Did you sign this?" They can publish lists of who signed and didn't sign. I mean, Toby, that sounds like intimidation to me, doesn't it?
But Brenda, ultimately, let's just look at what's happened in the facts, not what we think is going to happen. We have 6 states in the United States that have built automobile plants or manufactured and built automobile plants that are making money, that are hiring Americans, that are probably 95% American run, own, and profit. We have 1 state that is union dominated. By the way, these other 6 states are right-to-work states, which means you don't have to have a union. We have 1 state that requires you to have a union, and they've lost 250,000 jobs, and those jobs went to the areas that didn't have that. If that's not proof that unions don't work, I don't know what is.
Well, Brad, actually, you're right. I mean, unions did play a very important role earlier, in the last century in creating a middle class. But are they?
So did buggy whips.
But are they really needed
So
right
did buggy
now?
whips.
I mean, it's very hard to unionize in the service industries. Isn't that one reason why you want to get rid of the secret ballots here?
Well, look, how many times I have to say the legislation doesn't get rid of the secret ballot before y'all will listen? Probably a lot more. But but the truth of the matter is that wages have declined, and they've declined for the past 30 years. And if these elections were working, why would we be down to 7% unionization? I mean, business wins every single one of these things.
But actually illnesses, fatality rates, workplace industries, injuries, all those are at record lows, Eric.
I wrote something a while ago, and I had people writing in from actual union members from within Ford and within GM saying, you know what, you're 100% right. We can't change the way we do business because there are 5 union members levels that we have to go to get approval just to change the way we build a Cadillac or F-150. It's insanity. It's bad business practice. End of story.
Brad, isn't it aren't unions and contracts one of the reasons why the Detroit has had to come to Congress and say, give me some money?
Well, look, I think legacy costs on health care are a big reason that they had to come to Congress. And had they supported universal health care years ago, they probably wouldn't be in the position that they're in. Unions aren't the problem. I mean, if unions were, wages are being driven down. I mean, how much farther do we need to drive down wages in this country before we recognize that workers ought to have the right to collective bargaining?
Toby?
Well, I mean, again, in the vacuum of facts, let me go with reality here. We have and unions have lost wages and lost drive because they were completely overpaid for those services, and the marketplace is now reacting to that and driven away jobs. If you're actually paying a quote-unquote fair wage, the word fair, replace that with usually overpaid, and the people who are not subject to that sort of socialism establish wages that work. That's the reality.
And we don't think any of these CEOs at the banks or on Wall Street were overpaid, do we? At all.
Well, you know, that'll be in the next segment, big boy.
That's exactly right. All right, guys, thanks so much. And Brad, thank you for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Appreciate it.